Recording.
Every fighter you beat, every record you beat, we will be following you. Every single jump, every trophy won, every wicket you break, every breakaway you make, every cross, every dribble, every dunk, every pit stop, every loss, every
That is the sound to let you know we're about to talk sports inside of the locker room here on Smooth 98.1. You're listening to Smooth Breakfast with Ayo.
I'm Valentine.
And we have Tega Supreme in the studio. Hi Tega, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning.
Tega, happy Valentine's Day.
I was going to say that happy Valentine's Day, Tega.
Please put it in your pocket.
Because I brought pebbles for Tega.
Please
She called me
put
out
it in
on
your
Twitter
pocket.
for that.
Not one single person
Yes,
wished me happy Valentine.
let's do
The
that.
good news is I didn't wish you back. But not one single person thought of me yesterday and said, "Oh, I love Tega. Tega, happy Valentine's Day." Not
We'll
one.
do like the penguins after the show.
We are not going to talk to you.
Okay. Uncle Brubu is around. Good morning, Uncle Statistics.
Good morning, everyone.
You see how I deliberately add uncle to every time I describe you?
Yes, yes.
Alright.
You will get your comeuppance.
I have respect for
You will get your comeuppance. It's coming today.
you. Lagos, send the messages through WhatsApp. Send it to
0809 4440981. And you can go on Twitter, actually. We're very like there. Smooth 98.981 FM is the Twitter handle. Use the hashtag lockerroom981.
Now. Flying Eagles crashed out on Wednesday. How many of us watched that game? Their quest to win the Under-20 African Cup of Nations came to a crashing end on Wednesday after a penalty shootout loss to Mali in the semi-final game. Now, coach Paul Aibogun said his team was only unlucky, but against South Africa on Saturday, his words will shake off the loss and play with pride, he said. In his words, he said it was a very difficult match against Mali and we fought as we should, but unfortunately for us, Mali won. We must now focus on the game at hand. I'm proud of the boys and what they've achieved. Mali will face Senegal on Sunday in the final.
So this is interesting. I don't know how do you say you played well and didn't score? Because I think that's where the problem is.
E for effort.
A game that could have been won in 90, you didn't win it, and then you had to go to the lottery of penalties. And there's a reason they call it lottery, because sometimes you may be picked and sometimes you may not. Yes. So I don't support him that they played low. I think I'm even very disappointed that I was hopeful. Yeah,
And you were quite hopeful.
yeah, I can't get my minutes back. They're gone. But it was. Let me put it this way: if that's the team that's going to the World Cup, I'm still not hopeful. I don't even want to see them. I don't think they'll come out of the group stages. They can do their best to make themselves feel better, because I wouldn't feel better or feel good if they won South Africa. I would be ambivalent. It's not like I'd be sad, but I don't think that was a result that they should have been going for. Yes, qualification for the World Cup is good. What would have been better is coming back with a trophy, but now they have to settle for third place. And so maybe with the monkey off their back, they're going to play and try to get a result. But I remember that they still couldn't beat the South Africa in the group stage. So it's not a very hopeful thing. So I think Paul just needs to... maybe he's not even the guy that should lead this team. Maybe because Amunike seems to be analyzing his team better than he is. Because, and again, maybe that's why Amunike is part of the technical committee for FIFA. But I mean, the guys looking at your team and seeing all the shortcomings that everybody is seeing, only Paul is not saying it. So perhaps should swap who the coach is.
Perhaps.
Alright, perhaps we'll go to our next story, and this one is Raw admits victory will be difficult. Again, Raw believes the Super Eagles' chances of winning the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations have reduced because this summer's tournament is the first time 24 teams will compete for the title. He said this big competition in June is the first time we have 24 teams. It will be more difficult to be the winner of this competition, but we have good ambitions and we have a young team who want to do well. So let's prepare to be ready on the 15th of June. This big, so he said they should be ready by the 15th of June.
Okay, so I guess I understand what he's saying from the perspective of the sheer number of teams and perhaps the sheer number of more experienced teams that will be at the competition, that would make winning that competition that bit more difficult. However, I feel that it is a little bit ambitious for us to be aspiring to win it, for the simple reason that we've been away from this competition for so long. These guys, a lot of the guys that are going to this don't have the experience of playing at the African Cup of Nations. It's a different kettle of fish from playing fancy European football. You get African football and African refereeing that makes us, the reality of that competition is going to hit many of them really, really hard. Preparation is key. And I mean, yes, I know that they had ample preparation going into the World Cup, but the kind of preparation that's required for this, for them to have a creditable performance. Now, creditable performance for me, if somewhere along the line our team gets to the final and we win, that's like a super bonus. But there needs to be a strategy towards training, a strategy towards team selection in order to be competitive and give a credible performance. Ultimately, it's about, to get to the final will be a bonus. To improve your ranking, ranking points from this competition is also important, and seeing how the players develop. Because the point that General has always made is building a team for the future. This is a competition that allows you to test how your development is going and what the long-term goal will be.
And do you think the strategy is good enough so far? Or is it strategic at all?
This dude likes to play safe, and that's my problem. We have a game coming up against Seychelles coming, and he's still talking about playing his best players when you've qualified for a tournament. That's the part that worries me about that developmental side of his philosophy.
All right, let's talk about Caster Semenya, as her gender is being questioned, or now I don't even know whether to say he or she, but then the governing body for World Athletics Federation is still casting doubts on this. They've denied reports, really, that it wants the Olympic 800 meters champion Caster Semenya to be classed as a male athlete. The International Association of Athletics Federation, IAF, was forced to respond after British newspaper The Times reported lawyers would argue Semenya is a biological male because she has high testosterone levels. In a statement that the organization put out, they said, and it read, "The IAAF is not classifying any DSD, that stands for Differences of Sexual Development, athlete as male, and to the contrary, we accept their legal sex without question and permit them to compete in the female category." Now, but the IAF went on to affirm its commitment to lowering testosterone levels and said it wished to preserve fair competition in women athletics.
Okay, here's what's interesting. So they've already met, and some people are hinting that they have a verdict, and their verdict may not be politically correct in many places.
Yes.
And that's why they have to defend it.
But do you blame them?
Do I blame who?
Yeah.
IAAF for trying to make Caster Semenya a male, even if she's not male.
It shouldn't be her choice.
It cannot be her choice. It's biological. It's like saying, "Tega, do you want to be a man?" No.
Yeah.
It's not my choice.
How she's treated, because it seems
it's not my choice. I can't wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I want to be a man." My muscle growth is totally different. Trust me, it's just skin and blood that is the same. So for you to wake up in the morning and say, "I want to be a man," yeah, even if I run and jump high, I'll just be a female Jackie Chan at best. So I can't even bother.
Doesn't that ask the question of in countries where it's allowed to choose your sex, if you're born a man?
You can say these things. See, look, you can say these things with your politics,
but not in sports.
When you come to biology, if she decides to run with the men, she can't. She's not a man, even with her testosterone levels. She just has higher than the average woman,
and which might affect her performance positively, and might not be fair.
And they keep saying that because I know what is the name of this other lady, that DSD lady that has this problem from Kenya and never wins any race, and she wants the 800 meters. So it can't be that this is the only thing that is making Caster Semenya win, because there's another girl too from Zambia that is DSD too, the same problem, but she barely ever wins. So it cannot just be her high testosterone levels that give her the advantage.
It could be that she works harder than everybody else.
It also means that she puts in the work.
Yes.
So and I understand what the IAAF is trying to do. There was a time that they tried to make them take drugs that would lower their testosterone, but because it is a part of a chemical makeup, they lowered their testosterone, but it also made them feel tired often. So you messed up their biology basically, and most of the athletes said we can't live like this, and we can barely live like this, not talk of compete like this. And so that's where the problem is. What's the line? I don't know what the legal. I'm not a lawyer. They can argue legally that she's a woman, and the IAAF and science can bring up things to back up their results. But I'm just saying, I'm looking at the field of athletes, and I'm looking at the DSD people that compete in the 800 meters, and only Katsa Maya stands out. So,
which is why I was asking that question initially.
In my opinion,
it be her choice how she's been administered the drugs that should regulate the testosterone levels.
I mean,
it doesn't seem fair.
I mean, because you can't even force medication. Can you force someone medication?
If you're participating in sports, in the activity.
I mean, this is legal.
I can't think of any reason why you compel someone, short of it being like a direct consequence of some criminal activity.
Yeah.
And to the best of my recollection, being of a certain gender is not known to perceived as being of a certain gender, even if you have like unusually high hormones, is, as far as I know, it's not being criminalized.
Lagos, we'll take a break, let that sink in, and we'll be back to take more stories. Please keep your messages coming into WhatsApp 0809 444 0981. This is the Locker Room on the Smooth Breakfast.
I love life, I love digging what I'm listening to, and that's
Black
what...
girl is winning. That's what it is.
End of story.
I told you now, when I saw her in Asaba, the girl from Kenya that came last, that always comes.
It's 8 a.m. I was also saying that was a time check.
Why did they put it there?
The girl had the
It's 8 a.m. Time to enjoy this.
As in,
they put it in 8:26.
8:26. When I saw time,
Thank you for noting. Please write it down.
that Kenya, I did not trust her. She just came out like this.
Well, back in 15 seconds.
That was quick. She still came last.
Studio. Mics are up. Lagos, you're tuned in and listening to Smooth 98.1, and this is the Locker Room where we talk sports here, and we have Tega Supreme in the studio. We have Brutalistics in with us as well to do analysis to these stories. From Sheriff in WhatsApp, he sent in a message that says, Tega, have you heard of a man? Sheriff, you're very nuts. So very unrelated. Keep it moving.
Alright, keeping this moving, Unai Emery says Arsenal needs to control frustration after Alexandre Lacazette's red card. Have I said I love the name Lacazette? Alright, Arsenal head coach Unai Emery promised his team would be different for the second leg of their Europa League last 32 tie against BAT Borisov, but needed to control the frustration after losing 1-0 on Thursday yesterday. It's the first match, said Emery. We're going to play another 90 minutes next week, and I'm sure it's going to be different. Emery said, I didn't see the action, but we need to control the frustration. It's bad news. This red card. Next week, we won't play with Lacazette, but it gives chances for another player.
Personally, I think he should be fined for his behavior. There is no excuse. Yes, there was no justification whatsoever.
The guy kicked him.
Yeah, yes, he kicked him.
I'm sorry,
trust me. And then what? Then throw a childish tantrum and hit him with the elbow. And he got what he deserved. And if I were his coach, I would fine him. The problem that Emery has at the moment is, I may be wrong, but he seems to have lost. He seems to have lost the passion that the players had initially when he came in. There's just something off about the way they're playing. The body language doesn't seem right.
They have been losing quite a number of matches in recent times.
This whole thing that he's going on and on with Ozil at the moment. I mean, the thought process is that it's affecting the dressing room, the mentality of everyone, and all of that stuff. And everybody who remembers the beginning of the end of Mourinho will remember that as soon as he started having these consistent issues with a player, someone who was very influential, it resulted in bad on the pitch performances. That's where Arsenal is at the moment. Yes, he has a lot of other things going on, with him, the injuries he's having to deal with, his defensive lineup, the lack of investment and all of that, it doesn't bode well. However, the performances, they started very well.
Yeah.
First 10, 15 minutes, it seemed like this was going to be a walk in
They
the
look
park.
like they were going
And
to
then they just
score.
lost
Yeah, and
energy.
then they just, yeah.
That also raises a question in my mind as to whether he is pushing. The team looks a little bit, let me use Arsene Wenger's favorite word, jaded. It seems as if the training routine may be a little bit too hard, and it's taking out. So a lot of energy has been expended in training, and then on D-Day, there's nothing to give anymore. So some of the players may be still trying to get used to the rigors of his philosophy and things like that, and it's telling in the performances, not consistent, not inspiring, and Arsenal faithful are starting to ask questions. What's going on?
Starting to ask questions. They're already saying Emery out. You didn't
Oh,
see
no,
it.
those are fake.
No,
Those are fake. All those things are pre Arsene Wenger things that somebody decided to be clever
No, that's
with.
not the. I'm not talking of the picture. I'm talking of somebody in North London saying Emery out.
Hey, no,
I'm talking of somebody at the stadium.
Oh yeah.
Saying,
Oh, they started saying.
oh
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
Emery out.
Yeah.
At the stadium.
But I think that's a little bit unfair. It's a little too soon. However, this issue about Mesut Ozil, the need for the Arsenal hierarchy needs to figure out what they want to do in terms of how they want to support this guy, because they seem to be setting him up just to take the fall on the field. He's lost his recruitment person. They haven't sorted out the recruitment person. You have a 40 million budget for the summer transfer window. Are you kidding me? And you want to be competitive?
All right, now this comment here from Sharif Oluwaleke Akinbiyi from Lagos Island is quite, contributes to what you're just saying. He says, I think it's high time the tactical acumen of Unai Emery be scrutinized. The way they play is awful. Disagreeing with what you just said.
Okay, so I mean, I'm going to have to add to this at the end of the day. When players see the way you treat a player like Mesut Ozil, and the way Aaron Ramsey was also treated, because we can all say Aaron Ramsey wanted to move. Not necessarily so. There's something that made him to move. You as a player start thinking, if I can be that guy tomorrow, then what's the point of putting all my effort? And those kind of things tell on morale. That's number one. Number two, these are all problems that Arsene Wenger faced with discretion.
Yes.
They didn't invent these financial problems today. They didn't invent this. I'm telling you, they didn't invent this recruitment budget today. These are things that Arsene Wenger dealt with for years, and people outside were saying Wenger out, and he was dealing with it with discretion. You know how it is. You'll be managing the situation in your house. Nobody outside knows. Then your girlfriend will come and say, that man is stingy. That's exactly what Arsene Wenger was doing. He was managing it. And then Unai Emery comes, and all of a sudden, it's a bit too much for him. And for me, I always said this, Unai Emery for me has never been a good league coach. Unai Emery at best is a cup competition coach. So when you want to push for top 4, or you want to push for the EPL title and Unai Emery is your coach, I'm not very hopeful. You can call the case of PSG. PSG is competing in a different league. PSG is competing in league. The rest are competing in League One. That's how it is. So you can't use that as an example. So I mean, it's just a lot of problems that Arsenal need to solve, but they'll sort it out eventually.
All right, so Hussein CFC Aiden here on Twitter says Arsenal keeps faltering. Happy to see Chelsea bounce back. And then Sheriff Oluwaleke Akinbiyi sent in this one. You've already read that about Unai Emery. Thank you very much. Let's move on to our next story. Now, Maurizio Sarri says Chelsea played their football as they secure their first away win of the 2019 with a 2-1 Europa League last 32 first leg victory in Malmo. He said, today we played our football. We need to move the ball more forward and back. In the last period, we had a problem about up and down, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. We needed to have continuity and consistency. We need to have the right application, he said. If you have a bad mental application in England, you can lose 3 or 4 matches. We need to have consistency. It is not easy, but we have to try. I am happy, he continues, because we played in a good level of confidence. It was not easy after the last match. We moved inside our box. We played very well. We risked only a set pieces, and we could score more, I think, or consider the goal a mistake.
That mistake that he considered 1 goal at Malmo, it's the same kind of mistakes that give him 4-0 in England, 6-0, depending on who he's playing. But look, I don't think he should judge Chelsea's progress by Malmo. Like, they allowed them to play their football. It's not like he was playing a side that came out to were tactically capable of stopping him. Then you say we played that game. You played the team in front of you, and that team was easily beatable. And even then, you still considered a goal for good measure. Just, I mean, it was an away win, but it was still. It's not the kind of thing that you. It's not the kind of win that you look at and say, okay, I'm consoled, we did well. No, it's the kind of win that it said we needed to catch a break after the 6-0. We're still reeling. So thank you for giving us a team like Malmo, and we got that result. He shouldn't use this to judge anything. What he should use to judge is how his players show up when it's time to attack and they meet some kind of restriction or opposition. How do they overcome that? And then when they're playing against teams, how do they deal with teams on the counter? Because they're always catching them on the break. Those are things he needs to. If they stop conceding goals that way, then he can say, oh, this is good progress. But until then, this Malmo was just to make them feel good. You know, it was Valentine's Day. Somebody had to give them a present. You know, they gave them Malmo. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, then UEFA opens disciplinary case against Real Madrid Sergio Ramos. UEFA yesterday opened disciplinary proceedings against Sergio Ramos after the Real Madrid captain admitted to deliberately picking up a late booking in Wednesday's round of 16 first leg against Ajax. Moments after Marco Asensio had put Madrid 2-1 ahead in the 87th minute, Ramos splattered Ajax substitute Kasper Dolberg near the centre circle and was shown a third yellow card in this year's competition. He could face a 2-match Champions League suspension. UEFA will hear the case on February 28th.
No. First of all, he's denied that he deliberately took it. I mean, how would you admit just like that? They have to.
But when you see.
No. I know what you mean. I'm just saying he has verbally. Look, it's one thing they have to prove that you deliver. They have to prove that that's not a normal Sergio Ramos mistake. Do you understand? They have to prove it, and I don't know how they can prove it, but but it was he thought about it. Like I said on Wednesday, Ajax was going to score, but they were never going to win. What if you can talk about officiating or VAR or other drama? At the end of the day, Real Madrid just had that extra experience, and they were, going to come up with the result. So he's looking at it like, I'd rather miss the second leg of this tie that we look like we have in hand, as opposed to missing the next round. It made sense for him. But if UEFA finds him, that would be very sad for Real Madrid, because that's 2 games without their captain that knows how to. I'm telling you, I think about a defender that has 80 goals.
That's a lot of goals for him.
Yeah, that's a striker.
That's bound to
That's a midfielder's return.
Yeah.
A regular midfielder's return.
If only in the process of scoring these goals,
he didn't pick up red
receive sense.
We have messages. Charles Studios just sent in this one on Twitter. It says, with the way and ease we qualified for the AFCON, I do not think Gunnar Raw should be worried. In fact, he should be eager to win the tournament. Meanwhile, all the testing and the interrogations of Caster Semenya have been so unfair. Actually, similar sentiments. Now, Benny Amnafe said, if your boss criticizes, you stop work. Players aren't there to be pampered.
And that goes nicely what Benny Mafe says, and I'd like to hear what he said. This can't be compared with Mourinho. The comparison, Emery and Mourinho. A player dropped play because he can't handle criticism from his coach. Is this the case? Okay, so let's not compare that. Let us go back to PSG. Him and Neymar. How'd that end for him? No, sir.
Because I say it all the time. Stop. Look, as a board, you cannot fire 23 people. It's not possible. You fire one man and replace him.
Yeah. I say this all the time.
So yes, players these days are a little pampered and spoiled. You can imagine if Alex Ferguson threw a shoe at Boba. That means you would have gone to jail now.
That's and to the person who commented about players are like workers. You need to motivate them to get the best out of them. If you're not motivating them, they're just going to be there and give you the bare minimum, and then you get bare minimum results.
All right. On that note, we'll take a break. We'll be back for the final few minutes of the locker room here on Smooth Breakfast with Ayo.
And Valentine.
Good morning. Stay with us.
Can talk anyhow, Sha. If player Sha look at that man's situation, that's different. They won't say that's his case. They'll be like, that could be me.
Yeah,
and that's it.
That's all.
Yes, players of the
Because
90s
look at
would have been
Aaron
different.
Ramsey. The minute they withdrew the contract from him, this guy entered, he just dumped him on the bench.
Yeah.
You don't do that now. And the bad thing about it is that you try to show that you can get results without these guys, and you are not getting. That's the problem. You dump this guy, you treat them anyhow. You are not showing that there's justification in terms of results.
So even if you are right, like I said, it's what you can
But
prove.
this guy, Alex Ferguson, did it with Beckham.
No. But see, again,
But his was.
I keep
so
saying.
his was. He was still winning.
I keep saying this. I keep saying this. Even him struggled without Beckham for a few games. My problem is players of the 90s are not players of now.
Different.
People of 90s are different from people. The things I could take, my younger brother, my nephew, and his
they're spoilter, if I put it that way.
do you understand?
I'm more
They
pampered.
demand they demand differently. Like my nephew told me the other day, I said, you're going to write from 1 to 100. This is a 3-year-old boy. Well, he's going on 4. He said, my auntie said when we get to 30, we should rest our brain. I said, what are you doing with your brain? I kid you not. And when he got to 30, he looked up at me and said, I don't remember my aunt. No, he said, my auntie did not say I must write 1 to 100 at once. Then he looks at me. I don't remember her saying that. It's not his fault, it's the person that paid the school fees. But that's how they are now.
Yes,
I couldn't say that to my mother when she was telling me to write 1 to 1. Am I mad? But children these days are different. He struggled a little bit, but you see, he was Sir Alex Ferguson. And then you fall in line or you fall out.
And then Alex Ferguson was Manchester United. Whatever he says goes. Arsene Wenger was the same.
Yeah, we're back.
Whatever he
We're
says.
back. Mics are up. If you just joined us, you're tuned in and listening to Smooth 98.1, and we're on the show actually called Locker Room 981. We're talking sports. More stories here. Your messages come to WhatsApp 0809444091.
We have a few messages here. Player power is really getting out of hand, and UEFA need to do more. So we'll go straight to ourselves. Actually, hopefully we have enough time to take some of the comments.
Now, Newport County's battered Rodney Parade pitch could unsettle Manchester City and give the League Two club a small advantage when they go for another FA Cup Giants killing next weekend, according to striker Padraig Amand. We have to use all the advantages we get, he said. At the bubbling pitch, we have to use that. Irish Amand was caught saying he actually scored the Conti's second goal against Middlesbrough on Tuesday. Let's talk about your thoughts.
Yes, I know this is a good strategy. They're like Manchester City like to play champagne football, you know, free-flowing football. They also need the pitch to be well watered, well cut. So it's
not easy to win 6-0.
but we are going to cut it anyhow. Let's cut the grass anyhow, so the ball won't bounce well for them. Let's see if they'll come here and beat us. That's what they're trying to do. They're using the pitch, the advantage, and there are coaches that have done that. You know, there's some coaches like when the new Barcelona was coming, they will not cut the grass well enough. They'll just leave it high so that the ball will not move smoothly. So it's not illegal. It may be immoral to you, but it's not illegal. Just
we'll be telling them if you don't win that.
After the strategy. Alright, let's go to your comments here. Okay, this one. Tega is right. Malmo versus Chelsea was a lover's gift. After the battering versus City, we need to feel good. We needed to feel good. Solution to Chelsea problem: Sarri out, Zidane in. Agree or disagree?
This is busy.
Yeah, just kidding.
I'm telling you.
Enjoy the look. Immerse yourself in this philosophy of Sarri ball first. If it doesn't work, and then maybe like
it's not working already.
No, wait. Let them hit 9 first.
Alright, now Charles Chidozie says Sergio Ramos has a long history of picking up yellow cards. We probably forget too fast. He's always manipulative when it comes to missing, skipping somewhat irrelevant games. He should be banned for 12 matches.
Is it your match?
Wow. And we have more messages on WhatsApp. Tega, knowing the antecedents of Sergio Ramos, even if they consult the greatest Babalawo the world has ever seen, they will not know what Ramos' intention is.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
So he has quite a
It's his work. It's his
reputation. We're done. We have a reputation to bring you Lagos Stocks 91. Top of the ad. Oh, sorry, I thought to slide that.
That was fantastic sliding.
Thank you. It's a feel-good Friday. Tega, I have your pebbles downstairs. Brutalistics, thank you for coming through. Catch Tega on Twitter at Tega Supreme. Uncle Bru is at Brutalistics with an X at the end. Lagos Talks 981, we have a feel-good question to ask you
Yeah.
regarding Valentine's Day.
I was gonna ask them to guess because I'm sure everybody will guess that.
But they did not wish me. We are here.
Okay, guys, you know what? Go to Tega's
No,
handle
I
and
don't
make
want.
sure you bombard
Ah,
her,
don't
her
want.
locker room with Happy Valentine's Day.
Good morning.
One wish.
You will get it. Yeah.
You
I
will
don't
get
want.
it. You will get it.
It's too late.
You will get it. Plenty.
It's too late.
Thanks, guys.
Let's go. I don't want to bother with Christian
Somebody
Ronaldo
said,
next.
the player power.